Pinnacle Real Estate Group presents The Key Turners with special guest host Angela Lee. Key turns agents need to turn more keys.
On today's episode, Angela will be focusing on open houses to closing deals. Now, without further ado, let's listen in.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be here. I'm Angela, and I'm guest hosting today's show. As some of you know, I'm a realtor as well as a staff member here at Pinnacle. Today, I'd like to welcome a very special guest. She is one of Pinnacle's top producers in real estate, as well as a lead instructor for Pinnacle's Boot Camp series. In addition, she manages all of Pinnacle's professional transaction coordinators. Here's Pearl Cheung, a very busy lady.
Hi, Angela. Thank you for having me.
So excited for you to be here, taking time out of your very busy schedule, because we're going to talk about something very, very exciting today, and also a common question from real estate agents. So today we're going to talk about open houses. You're going to give us the ins and outs of open houses. So after today's segment, our agents will pretty much be an expert on how open houses work, right?
Pretty much. I hope so. I hope my sharing will be very informational and helpful for everyone.
Well, I've sat in on your classes, and I think your sharing today will be very, very amazing and interesting. So let's start with the basics, though. What is an open house? I mean, what is the goal of an open house? Why would people want to do one? I mean, why would the sellers want to do one? And why would the agents want to host an open house?
Mm-hmm. So to start off with, an open house is pretty much the name suggested, to open and welcome the public to come in and take a look at the home. So from a seller's point of view, we open the home so people, potential buyers, or anybody who will be interested can come in and see for themselves, if the home is suitable for them. And from an agent perspective, of course, you want to look for the buyer, the new homeowner of this home. And also, that will also give you an opportunity to find good leads. And, good leads, we all love good leads, whether it's seller or buyer. So that would be one of the best opportunity to find your good leads.
Oh, that's really interesting, because I think for the new agent or for anybody who's never done an open house, finding leads wouldn't be something that they would even consider, right? So, okay, we're going to touch on that definitely, because I think people are interested. But first, can you go from the beginning? So before you do an open house, what does the agent need to prepare?
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about before the open house. So before it, obviously, you have to study the property and the nearby markets. You want to get a good idea of the selling point of this property, like, what are the schools? Is it under a good school district? Where are the freeways? Is it easily accessible? So what about shops, restaurants, the daily amenities? You really want to get to know all these things so that you know how to sell the property.
So when it comes to getting prepared for an open house, does it matter what kind of property?
I would say, of course, there are different kind of property. But let's say if in general we are doing a residential property, right? So residential homes for general buyers. Well, I would say we can focus on just residential for today, because, different kind of property might requires different attention and different approach. But in terms of residential, it will be the most common things that agents would do.
Okay, perfect. What about when it comes to marketing an open house? So they're ready, they know about the property, right? So how do they let people know that they're doing this open house?
Yeah, that's a good question. So after you study the property and the background of the property, you would want to prepare materials to do promotion, right? Things like obviously create your own flyers. That will be very important, because you do not want to use the listing agent flyers, well, unless you're the listing agent yourself. But in a situation where you are not the listing agent, you are helping another agent to do an open house, you want to prepare your own. So there are many ways to make your own flyers. We can maybe talk about that next time, but for sure prepare your own flyers. And then you want to advertise your open house event as well. So how do you advertise that? You can use social media, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, use apps, go to events and announce to the whole world that you are going to do an open house. So you increase the interest that who will be interested to visit the home. And then you can also have the choice to do door knocking. Yes, so your neighbors, they will be very curious as to how the house look like, how the neighbor homes looks like, and how much it's going to sell for, because it directly affect their value of their own homes.
Oh, that's very interesting. I think most people would not consider wanting the neighbors to know, but that's actually a really good resource for the agent, right? Because if the neighbor likes the way that the open house is conducted, maybe they'll ask that agent to sell their house.
Yeah, maybe they were actually thinking that they want to sell the home, but they're kind of like, kind of browsing, just watching how things unfold. And that will be a good opportunity for you to actually step in and say, you know what? Look at this beautiful home. I'm going to sell it at a good price, and I can help sell yours as well.
Oh, that's genius. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, that was just the appetizer. Okay. Now we're going to move into the second appetizer, which is, the agent researched the property. They've adequately and sufficiently marketed the open house date. What should an agent bring on the day of their open house?
So on the day of your open house, there's a lot to do. Like we just previously mentioned, you can do some door knocking. So you can do that before you have your open house. Visit there. Be on the property like 2 hours in advance so you can knock on the doors. Oh, I forgot to mention something very important. Before you do the open house, please make sure with the city or the HOA, if there's an HOA, that, it's okay to do an open house. It's okay to put open house sign, because they might have regulations in terms of how you want to put your sign, or what time you can put your sign, how to handle your sign. So that please make sure to check with the city and the HOA about the rules. Yeah, so on the day of the open house, after you knock on the doors, obviously you have to bring your sign-in sheets, which is very important because one of your goals during an open house would be to get good leads, right? So having a sign-in sheets will collect contact information. And also you want to dress professionally. I would suggest wearing suits will be best, because that projects the most professional image. And that really helps you to build up the way you want to present yourself, because you're meeting with strangers. You want them to know that you are very professional and you're very confident. So these are very important during the open house. I would say also when people come in, you want to make good interaction with them, make good connections, and make them feel easy and welcome.
They bring everything. Okay, they're setting up the open house, and you mentioned sign-in sheets. They're bringing marketing material. They're bringing the flyers and everything. So when they unlock the house to go into the house, what are they supposed to do when they get inside?
So when they first, I would say, get there at least 15 minutes or even 20 minutes, 30 minutes before your time start. That would give you more time to prep the home. You can bring in some music, make sure the lighting is good, make sure the temperature is good, turn on the AC, and obviously, clean up any mess that's left behind. So your main objective is to make the home very presentable, very warm, and very comfortable.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yep.
So you turn on lights and then windows and stuff. What about, sometimes I hear that people complain about if a house hasn't been lived in a while, does it have a certain kind of odor?
Oh, yeah. That might happen too. So what you want to do is you can bring in some essential oils. You can do some incense to kind of take away that bad aroma.
Oh, okay, right. You want to bring in just some diffusing.
Yes, diffusing machines,
Right.
things like that to help with the smell if there is.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I think that's good for the agent as well. That's going to stay there for 3 hours, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So now everything's ready, and then you're ready to welcome your first visitor or guest that walks in. What do you do when you see that person approaching the house?
I know this, me as a first new agent doing your first open house, seeing your first visitor could be very nerve-wracking, right? Because they are strangers. So I would say practice will make perfect. So you want to do this more to get yourself more experienced. And you want to be more confident. You want to, of course, greet them with a smile. Be welcoming, and basically that's to start with. And then when they come in, you do not want to bombard them with information, right? You can't just want to make it casual, make it easy for them. Give them time to browse the home on their own and address any questions if they have.
Okay. So, what if they come in and then, so obviously you're going to find out if they're working with an agent or not. So for those visitors that come in and say that, yeah, I already have an agent I'm working with, what do you do? Do you just kind of like not connect with them again?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think you will get that not only in open houses, right? Like let's say if you're trying to work with a client, a potential buyer or seller, they're going to tell you, oh, I have my agent already. I have someone else. Or my cousin is an agent, right? We all get that. So here's the thing. There are more agents than properties out there in the market. So that is inevitable that we all know more than one agent. So what you want to do is show them that, yes, it's okay for you to have other agents. I know that. But you know what? Remember, I can provide you better service. I have all the resources for you to help you sell this home or to buy your next dream home. So make sure that they see the value in you. I think that's most important. Instead of trying to avoid them or stop contact with between them and their agent, that would be very difficult. So I would say point them out, show them your value, and then they would choose you.
Okay. Wow, that's really good advice. So like you can attract more flies with honey, right?
Exactly.
With,
I like the way you put it.
Non-honey. But why would you want to attract flies, right? No, your clients are not flies. They're very precious. Okay, awesome. I'm learning so much. This is all really great. Now, one concern that a lot of agents have of both genders is open houses. As the name suggests, the house is open and open to the public. So how do you prevent, I don't want to say prevent, but how do you kind of take precautions in order to protect yourself and also the home?
Yes. We as an agent, when we do an open house, or I would say anytime, even when you visit the open house or when you're doing your own open house, you should always be mindful, be cautious, right? Know your surrounding. So you want to make sure that you don't have your back to the client. You want to face them face to face, especially when they first walked in, so that, if they have bad intentions, immediately you can react and try to run away or, do whatever you need to protect yourself. So that means you have to know your exits. So you have to know the property well, and you have to know, okay, if I'm here, where is my nearest route of exits if there's an emergency? So you have to know your property exits well.
Okay. So that's really good information. Now, an agent might ask, well, then is it always a good idea to have a buddy there? Is it always a good idea to do your open house with another agent? What are the pros and cons of doing them with another agent?
That's a very good question as well, because if from the safety point of view, it's always good to pair up with someone, because you have someone to watch over your back if something does happen. But when you are pairing with someone or when you're teaming up with someone to do an open house, I would suggest to talk about the logistics. Things like, how are we going to share the leads? How are we going to share the contacts that we collected during the open house? So that way, you kind of want to avoid the fights later on or trying to fight over clients. So talk it out. Remember we're agents, so everything is negotiable.
Okay. That's really good advice. And also, right, be prudent in who you choose to be your partner.
Absolutely.
Right. No shady characters here. Okay, great. Now, one other little question I wanted to ask you in regards to that situation is, what if you're at the open house and it's not a very busy day, or it's a rainy day, or it's a Super Bowl Sunday where, nobody comes out? So what do you do if the open house is kind of dead? Like, how do you make use of your time?
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. Sometimes you have a very good turnout, especially, during a holiday or during times that people are very anxious to buy. Like, back in the days where interest rate was so low, you got like 100 visitors in an open house. But it might not be like that all the time. During time where it's slow, you have less people. I think that would be a good opportunity for you to sit down and kind of, review your work. We have our phone with us, right? So, or you can bring along a computer with you. So when there's no one there, you can, utilize your apps, utilize your computers, kind of do some extra work on the side to help you sell the property or do some studying or listen to our podcast.
Or Candy Crush.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, listening to podcasts would be great.
Yeah.
So, is it ever a good idea to have any music or any kind of sound or audio playing when you're at the open house?
I would say yes. I would love to bring in some music for the open house, because imagine just put yourself into the other person's shoes, right? If you visit the home, the moment you walk in, you hear some soothing music. It could be classical. Oh, choice of music, I guess. That's important, right? You do not want something extreme. Yeah, you want something smoothing, something that everyone would love. That would be a nice choice of music.
Okay. Okay. So they should definitely have that prepared. Maybe bring a little Bluetooth or something.
Yeah.
Speaker. Okay. Perfect. So they're done with the open house. 1 million people came. They got a bunch of contacts. Now, a kind of a logistics question as well. Let's say the open house ends at 5 o'clock. So should the agent, and you have a bunch of signs out right in the street. So should the agent close up the house first and then go grab the signs, or should they grab the signs first and then come back and close out the house? And how do you close out the house?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I never actually thought about like the logistic. But yes, let's say if you're pairing up with someone, right? Maybe divide the task. I would close down and maybe you can go collect the open house sign. Or if you're doing it on your own, lock the door first, right? And then go pick up the sign and then wrap up your day and make sure you be very sure that you lock down. Because if you're doing your open house for another agent, for a listing agent, and you did not close down properly, you might already, kind of given up your next opportunity to be able to help the listing agent to do another open house. So you kind of want to be more careful with things like that.
Okay. Okay, that makes total sense, right? Set the alarms if they have any, blow out the candles.
Yeah. However, the listing agent want it closed. If maybe they want you to reset the alarm or to leave the alarm unalarmed. So however way they want you to close it down.
Got it. Follow directions, right?
Yes,
First rate.
absolutely.
All right. So you closed it out properly, and then you go back to your office the next day, maybe. And then, so what do? You've collected a list of 15 names and phone numbers and email addresses. What do you do from there?
Yes, so that would be the last part of your open house. That is to follow up your leads. And that is the most important part, right? You do all your open house, you spend all day there. Well, if you sell the home, good. But if not, the leads that you collected will be your most valuable thing of the day. So go ahead and you would want to follow up with people who come in. And among the people who come in, there will be good leads and there will be bad leads. There will be people who are just browsing. They are not ready, but they're just looking, getting ready. So, but you still want to keep in touch with them. So they would be your kind of like your B client, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's what. Yes,
okay.
Yes. So
that
you want
makes
to prioritize your leads, and for those who are ready, if you realize that they are vigorously looking for a property, or they are already ready, they are pre-approved, they have their down payment in the bank ready to go. So these will be your A-list clients, and you would want to follow up closely with them, because anytime they might ask you to send an offer, or they might call you to, can you take me to a property that I'm really interested. So make sure you filter out your leads, put them into priorities, and keep track of all of them.
Okay. Now, do you need to tell the listing agent anything or communicate anything with them about their open house?
So after you finish it, I would say always report back to your listing agent. It's like a courtesy to give them a report of, how many people visited, what are their feedbacks, because the listing agent can bring these feedbacks to the seller. And then they might have to continuing working things out. So if it's for me, if I'm doing someone else's open house, I would definitely give the listing agent a report so that the listing agent can also report to the seller.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
Because if you're a listing agent and you're, someone's doing an open house for you and you don't hear from them, it kind of sounds like
weird.
unreliability, right?
Yeah, your listing agent would definitely appreciate.
Yeah,
like
you have to
feedback
just chase them for
exactly
for feedback. Okay, yeah, we don't want listing agents chasing us for any reason. All right, so that was all really, really, really amazing. And I know I mentioned appetizers and I never mentioned main course. I'm so sorry. So we're going to skip to the dessert, okay? Because I do want you to give one last piece of advice or two to the new agent on how to make hosting open houses as part of their marketing strategy or to get leads. Like what's one last tidbit of advice you can give them?
Yes, Angela. So doing an open house, actually, I would say being an agent itself, it's not easy as the outsider thinks. But in terms of doing an open house, I would say consistency and determination would be the hardest part to maintain, because you cannot expect immediate return after just one open house. You might get a good return. You might get a good lead. You might even be able to sell the house with one open house. But the reality is that usually don't happen, So it's going to take a lot of consistency and determination. You might have to do 1, 2, 3, or even more open house. And that actually will build up your confidence and, give you more experience as to how to make the connection with the buyers or the sellers. So I would always say consistency, determination, and farming requires time. So keep it up and, but don't think that time is wasted, because you would realize that by the time you do your 10th open house, you are so much different from your first open house, because you have gained so much experience and improvement as long as you keep it going.
Okay, so patience, huh?
Yep.
An agent needs patience in order to be successful, right?
Yes.
Consistency, perseverance. All
Yep.
right. Thank you so much, Pearl, for sharing with us the ins and outs of open houses. That was a very delicious meal indeed. But thankfully, if you're a Pinnacle agent, this won't be the last time that you'll be hearing from Pearl, because she's actually the lead instructor in our boot camp classes. Pearl, would you like to share with us some of our boot camp topics?
Yes, I would love to. So we have a total of 9 topics in our boot camp. I'm just going to briefly introduce them to you. I would suggest to all new agents or even old agents to come join in, because we're going to touch on so much useful information. So number 1 is going to be new agent 1, 2, 3. We're going to talk about basic things that a new agent should know, where to join the board, apps or system that they need to utilize to help with their work. And then class number 2 will be buyer representation. We're going to talk about how do you use the CRMLS system, how to search for homes, print reports. And then we're going to talk about new homes as well, which is very popular right now because there's a lot of new homes construction going on. And then number 3 is going to be basic SIP forms. As the name suggested, we're going to talk about forms and contracts. And then number 4 is going to be broken mint. This is the system that we use to help you keep track of your filing. So that's also very important. And class number 5 is going to be about basic open house. So it's like what we talk about today, but even in depth. And number 6 is going to be escrow process, which is very important as well, because you want to know what do you do when your house is in escrow, what to expect in escrow. And number 7 will be a loan workshop. We're going to talk about loan to give your clients a good idea what to expect when you're doing a loan. And class number 8 is going to be about listing presentation. So we're going to help you how to get a listing from the seller, how to do a good presentation so that the seller will choose to sign and sell their home with you. So last but not least, we're going to talk about class number 9 is going to be about lease, listing agreement, and lease agreement. So we're going to talk about everything you need to know when you are trying to lease or help your client lease out a property.
Wow, that is a Michelin star menu. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I am very excited also to be in your boot camp classes.
Me too. Looking forward to see you guys.
Thank you so much, Pearl. We will see you next time. And if you're interested in learning more about Pinnacle Real Estate Group, please visit our website, preg365.com. We'll see you at the next bootcamp class.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Pinnacle Real Estate Group presents The Key Turners with special guest host Angela Lee. Key turns agents need to turn more keys.
For more information, please visit our website, preg365.com.